Three amigos are back at it again for yet another NOWT Power Hour. I am joined with Nick Huckson to my left or your right, and of course, Daddy Bacon below us. Gentlemen, it was an honor to spend a great weekend of fishing, a great weekend of Dubreuilville, and a great weekend of festivities. When did it all wrap up? I have to ask, Saturday, when did it all wrap up?
Sunday morning. Yeah, it was more of a Sunday morning thing.
Yeah, I think it was a Sunday morning.
Wow.
I hitchhiked there, and I think I hitchhiked home.
I had the walk. I definitely had the walk. So.
I will say, what a festivity it was. It was great to see a city sort of open its arms to the NOWT, and of course, all the participants and those who volunteered, were spectators, sponsors, you name it. Is it like that in every town you guys go to?
Seems to be.
Yeah.
It seems every time we show up, it's always a good atmosphere. Everybody's in a good mood, and we're having a good time doing it.
It's awesome stuff. I will say the trip up there, and I know you guys do it all the time. This guy, unfortunately, I don't do it enough. Breathtaking scenery. I can't say enough about it. I saw a few of these guys on the side of the road, and I swear, when I passed this particular moose, I swear he opened his mouth and he's like, "Yo, what's up, bud?" But the scenery was just incredible, absolutely breathtaking. If everybody gets a chance, don't pass
Montreal River Hill.
Yeah, don't go from Sault Ste. Marie to Wawa and back, and it'll be worth the price of admission. It'll be worth the price of gas, because it was absolutely breathtaking.
I'm lucky enough to drive around the entire province for work now. Like that's my job, to drive from one end of the province to the other. And I mean, back home from Sault Ste. Marie to Thunder Bay is by far the most beautiful drive I've ever seen in any country, in any part of the world. That is still breathtaking. The big Gitche Gumi keeps showing its natural beauty every time you drive by it.
Very cool. Absolutely very cool. So, of course, we did mention we were in Dubreuilville this past weekend. This, of course, was the second stop on the NOWT Trail, but also the championship, and the significance of that. Again, it's incredible to see the camaraderie. Even though there's competition, there is that sense of compassion towards fellow anglers. And you guys, you share your help, you share some advice, you share techniques to a certain degree. That part I really love. I love the interaction between all the teams, because you can all tell, as much as you want to win, you want to see others succeed as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it goes a long way with that, because you get competitive with these guys, but you see them in every tournament. I had Jesse and Francis, Francis, opened his house to us, so Mary Lisa and I got to stay in a spare room with that. So, and all the teams are there. We're having suppers together and stuff like that. We're all visiting. Nick was lucky enough to stay over at Jesse's place. So it's just you're all on the same team. It feels like at that point, but you don't want to give up anything either. Eh? You're trying not to, keep the competitive juices going in a sense, but not really get underhanded, I guess, is the best way you're saying. You're just listening to everybody else, but you don't trust anybody. Everybody bullshits. Nobody tells the truth.
Three of diamonds.
Three diamonds. Yeah, I just learned a long time ago. I can just tell the truth. Nobody's going to believe me, anyways. Till Saturday night. So.
Yeah, no, I think I used to tell the truth, telling everyone I was running plastics all the time, and everyone was like, "Yeah, whatever, walleyes on plastics." And now I'm starting to catch on. It's backfired on me. But it's the touching back on that. It's nice with the discussing with different anglers. Like, you almost work in groups of teams, like to a sense, right? Jesse, we were staying at Jesse's place, so Jesse and Francis, Danny, Jason and myself, Kevin Robino, and Steve Gravel. We're comparing notes to a certain point, making sure that we're on fish and just kind of getting the minor points across. And after the tournament, there was a kind of a debrief session where we discussed what we were doing and what we're doing in the tournaments. And a lot of people might not like that, especially tournament anglers. But in my mind, having that ability to talk to other professionals in the industry, some of the best in the industry, it gives you that ability to stay on top. It's that next puzzle piece to the puzzle that you're trying to solve, right? So helping each other grow. If you were just to try and learn it yourself, everyone says 10,000 hours to learn something through and through. Fishing's not 10,000 hours. I can assure you of that, because I don't know it. I haven't dialed it in, and it's been more than 10,000 hours, many more. So, having that ability to run stuff by other fellow anglers is pretty cool. Like,
you think about it too, like Nick touched on a good point. We go to a body of water. I haven't fished this body of water in over 4 years. And I only had 2 days of pre-fishing to put a pattern together. And the last time I fished it, I only probably put 2 days in. So we have very limited time to put that in. So it just goes to show, like, some of these guys are doing the exact same thing I am, and they're putting in a great system, a great pattern together. Like they're winning events, or top 5, top 10. So kudos to them. Like they made adjustments faster than I could, and I wasn't reading certain situations properly this tournament, and I made a couple of gaffes that cost me, but lesson learned.
100%. No, and thanks for offering that up, Danny, because at the end of the day, we don't know, as spectators and those who are looking for the outside in, we don't know the struggles that you anglers go through. I admire all of you, because it's a grind. The whole trail is a grind, but every tournament, it tests you. It really, really tests you as an angler, and the fact that you guys persevere and you still have a smile on your face, and Nick, you're doing high stepping and challenging people to sprints. Yeah.
Wow. You got to, Scotty. You got to show off my athletic physique a little bit, right?
It's just stressful.
I'm a professional athlete. You guys are forgetting this.
Okay, I'll let you deal with that, Dan. But yes, absolutely, Nick, you are a professional athlete. As I said, we were in Dubreuilville, beautiful little town in the middle of friggin' nowhere. It's about 45 minutes, roughly, I guess, out of Wawa, depending on what kind of vehicle you're driving. It is the Magpie. I know a lot of people call it the Snag Pie. There's a lot of sunken lumber. What are some of the challenges when it comes to this body of water?
Trees.
Yeah,
everywhere.
It's a fairly young system, really. I think they actually put the Steep Hill Dam back in the early 80s. So when it comes to a body of water, it's really young. And so, like Nick says, like with active or target or live scope, you can visually see all the stumps and all the trees and just everything that's just a nightmare in there. And the fish love to hide in that. They're hard to find sometimes.
So sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, it's the trees are definitely the plus and the minus on that system. They like these fish are striving in this wood. They're striving in the system. Like there is more big fish that I heard caught this weekend than I think I have in any other NOWT practice for the past 5 years. I bet you in this one tournament, I heard and seen pictures of multiple 32, 33-inch fish. There's one Danny Vano got that the new NOWT bump board. It ate the entire bump board. Like he laid it on there. There wasn't, I think it was 32.5 inches. It's a monster. Steve Johnson got another one over 32. We got one that there was boats close by that was in that same caliber, whether it was 31, 32, 30, whatever it was over 30. Like it was over 10 pounds. The one that Robbie Laframboise got in the tournament, 10.34 pound walleye, post spawn walleye. Like that is mind blowing. That fish would be pushing 14, 15 pounds come fall. Like the quality of fish in this fishery is absolutely mind blowing for how young the system is, how and like how healthy the bait population, the juvenile walleyes. It's just this system's flourishing and it's full of big fish. So if you're ever in the Dubreuilville area, you got to check it out.
I caught a 30 and a quarter myself, actually, like maybe half an hour after Scottie paid a visit and left with me there. So there's a lot of big fish in there.
Well, it was funny because Alain, he had hooked the 26 that we ended up getting, and we could see that there were more down there. So I'm going to assume you hooked the ones that we were spotting. But yeah, I was amazed to see the number of big fish that were not, I want to say, schooling together, and that's rare. You don't typically see big walleye schooling like that, but there were 5. There was at one point, I think, half a dozen of them swimming underneath the live scope. But to your point, lots of big fish. Big shout out to Tim Martell And Chris, they pulled in this gem. Lots of big fish, as Nick and Danny have said, and of course Jeff and Sebastian managed this on day 2 as well. Beautiful fish brought to the weigh scale. But before we get to all of the results, I have to say the town of Dubreuilville and the volunteers really put on a show, because when you arrived at the arena, you knew something was going on. This they had it all dialed up. They had past champions over in the corner. They had a whole list of folks that had competed in this tournament years before, and all those who had won. There was lots of working parts, lots of moving parts that were essential to making this a successful event. But I have to say, the grand stage, they didn't hold anything back. They literally threw everything at the wall. And it was nice to see a lot of what they did stuck and made it a successful event.
It really was, and they went above and beyond this year too. Like, they added so many different prizes, and they scattered them out very wisely. I remember listening on Saturday night when they're handing out the prizes there, and it was just name after name after name, and there were so many people. There was a lot of smiles going around. Everybody was having a great time, So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time with that.
One thing I do appreciate about this event, and you guys can help me out, is it like this in other events, other venues, the family orientated part of it? Because I was blown away to see how many fathers and sons, how many wives and husbands. It was incredible to see the family content that were participating in this tournament. Is it like that everywhere else?
Well, it's there's a lot of it, but I mean, the Dubreuilville Father's Day Walleye Tournament was the tournament I started fishing with my dad, so I think that has a lot to do with it. There was a lot of guys that I know that don't normally fish the events, or a lot of events, multiples that fish this one with their dads and whatnot. So you do see a lot more in this, but there's still quite a few, like Jesse and Francis, elite level team. You got. Collins that fish together. You got Alan Mercier. You got Danny fishes with his wife. Pretty much fish with my dad. Not quite, but
that's awesome. I will say this: we took a picture, and I don't know who this is, and I apologize we didn't get the name. But I asked the boys on Monday when we were at live, Jim, you've done a lot of tournaments. Have you ever seen, I would say, a newborn? I don't know how old this young girl was, but on a pontoon, this young baby went out 2 days in a row and competed. I thought this was absolutely awesome to see.
I didn't even see that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. We seen them out there, and we were kind of making little jokes and like, 3-man team, that's a DQ. We were making little jokes, but we could see them out there. No, I thought it was fantastic to see that. I've never seen it in a tournament situation, but I have seen it. I know Nick has done it with his young kids. Or Jake has. I remember Jake coming out when Wally was probably, I think, 2 or 3 months old, and Michelle got a 28-inch Wally. We were out there. We spent the whole day out there and played like that. So never in a tournament, though. That's a first for me.
And I have to say, Jim had never seen that either. So it was. This was, of course, the NOWT Championship for 2024. These were our champions last year, Kevin and Steve. They won in dramatic fashion at Matagami. However, this is 2024, and what a beautiful morning it was. The first day on the Friday, getting all the boats. This was a great pick. But again, what a venue, what a setup. And as it turned out, it just didn't disappoint. It came down again to the last boat, the last measurement. We have talked at great length. I wish I had gotten it right. I wish I knew there were 3 weighed bags as opposed to the 2. It was just refreshing to know that I declared our champions correctly, just a little bit earlier than it needed to be. But in terms of the payouts, it seemed like did anybody go home with nothing? It seemed like there was all kinds of cash prizes, all kinds of prizes. It was a heavily loaded, prize-heavy tournament.
And there's so many on there that aren't on the list, and that's just the regular tournament prize pool. We're not even adding the championship on top of that.
That's true, yeah. But when I saw this, an extra $4,000 in cash for 20th place, 30th place, and on and on and on. again, they didn't spare anything, and everything seemed to go back to the anglers.
And that prize actually changed the day before to every fifth position. So they actually added another $4,000 to that on top of that. So it was like starting at 15th, 20th, 25th. They added an enormous amount of prizes to that.
Incredible.
Yeah,
so,
it was awesome.
On top of all the cash prizes, of course, they were vying for this wonderful Prince Craft. Jeff Fipon dragged it up to Dubreuilville from J&B, or dragged it down, I guess, from Timmins. But again, this was a beautiful boat, a beautiful prize, and this in itself would be something to be proud of. But of course, on top of that, there was a whole whack of other prizes that were made available. After day one, it was the 10 top teams, and I have to say, Nick, you and Jay were in the mix again. You were runners-up last year at Matagami. You ended up fourth after the first day, but you were surrounded by some really good sticks. Nick, tell me how confident you were, or perhaps how nervous you were going into day two.
I mean, it was one of those things. It's either going to happen or it's going to happen or it's not. I don't get too worked up and too nervous over that. It's I used to. The big thing with me and Jay and Robbie Laframboise, our kind of our tournament mentor. He was he finished I think 6th place in this one, but his big thing always he competed at the top level of bass fishing, won multiple major championships, and his big thing was just go fishing, guys. It's just another day on the boat. So we take that with stride, and that's kind of what we build every day. It's just another day on the water. It's going to happen or it's not. And I mean, there's a lot of iron out there, but we made those guys work for it. I mean, I'm a bridesmaid once again. This is a 4th championship I've made. I've been a bridesmaid and a maid of honor already, and bridesmaid twice and a maid of honor in another one. So it's I've tasted close, but not the whole thing. And I mean, it just makes you eager and hungrier to get it the next year, right? We're not giving up. We're just going to keep going. That's what tournament fishing is all about. We try every time, and but it was definitely unique. The bite was incredible. The big fish we caught, man. We got 25 overs day 2. I bet you we got 8 to 10 fish between 4.5 and 6 pounds on day 2. We just we couldn't. We spent 90% of our time chasing big fish, hoping for the a 10 and an 8, and we got 7.5, I think, and a 6.5 or something like that for our kickers, and we didn't give us enough time with the 6-hour day that we had to work with, so to get our unders. So I mean, it is what it is. We fell short by 2 pounds, but I mean, we put it all on the line, and we give it our all, and there's nothing. I don't look back on that tournament. Usually afterwards, after you're done fishing an event and come that close, I wish I did this and I should have done that. And honestly, we played out what the cards gave us. We felt like it was a better chance of getting an 8-pounder than it was getting perfect unders. So we rolled the dice, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out for us. But we'll be back next year, and we'll be hungrier than ever.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that insight, Nick, because sometimes we love to get in the head of some of you competitors to understand where you're at after an event is done. Was there anything else you could have thought of that you would have done differently? This, that, and everything else. Daddy, were you the same? Was there anything that you would have changed had you had the ability to do so?
Oh, quite a few things, actually. Like I said, my pre-fishing was all over the place. I was getting, one day was nothing but 30-inch and 28-inch walleye and great unders. The next day I couldn't even get an over. So our first day 1 wasn't bad for us. We thought we'd picked up and put a pattern together, and if we were over 11 pounds for the day, which is pretty respectful for there. But day 2 we an adjustment needed to be made. I didn't make it, and it cost us. Like we grinded. So there was probably about 3 or 4 things looking back that I would have changed, and definitely in how I was going after fish, the areas I was looking in and stuff like that. I would have changed how I was doing that for sure.
Well, the one thing that you guys did tell me is you were predicting some serious bags of fish coming to the weigh scales. And in fact, I do believe that both of you had said that it's going to take a 45-pound bag to win. Now, again, I'm not as familiar with the NOWT in terms of what a daily bag weight is. I know you two are. So, of course, when you said that, I thought, I've seen what goes on in Matagami. Is it even possible for a 45-pound bag? In fact, some had even suggested that it might even take 50 pounds to win. But after day one, I was just blown away that we were on pace, as you guys had mentioned, that it's going to take a 45-pound bag. And I thought it was awesome to have the hometown heroes, Francis and Jesse, in second place and so close to the top that, of course, and you could tell with the town, they were really hoping these two were going to pull it out.
Yeah, I think we all were. It's those guys are deserving of the W. They've been working hard. They fish. Francis is on the water every day. Every single day he goes down, he puts his boat in, he goes and he plays around, and it just practices to get better. So I mean, the dedication that they put in, in a non-tournament situation, like I wish I had that time to be able to do that. But I mean, that my hat's off to guys that work like that. And like even the champions, like you got Robbie and David, like those guys put in the effort. There's not, I can't take anything away from what those guys have done, because these guys walk in here first time on the body of water and kick our asses. It's it makes you want to be better. It makes you want to be hungrier. And you know what? We said that last year in the championship, like they made us fish better. And I'm sure we make them fish better too, because it's not like competition. They're not showing up here and just, walking away with everything. We're nipping on their heels. Like they're not a big leads. It's the competition's fierce in Ontario. So having that being said, but I mean, coming to the body of water for the first time and then doing what they did is incredible. Like these guys are that good. Like they are fantastic anglers. And I mean, it's a shout out to them. If they're watching this, shout out to you guys. You well deserved on that victory.
100%. Couldn't agree more. And the fact that you just mentioned that was their first time experiencing that body of water. I guess it goes to show too that when you have that much time available to pre-fish, it benefits. Would you like to see that pre-fish expanded, or do you think it's enough as it is right now?
It's a benefit, and it's not in some cases. Like I that's one of the things that I did notice in Dubreuilville, especially, that I've noticed in some of the other tournaments, is that the fish aren't necessarily used to a lot of traffic in a short span like that, so they tend to deflect, I guess. And so the guys that adapt to those changes and do quite well. So we tend not to be generally always in community local holes. You're finding new places, new locations, and they become those plan Bs in the back of your mind the next time you go there. That's the kind of stuff. So in regards to whether a longer pre-fish, it could help. It could get the fish to get more adapted. Like I'm used to seeing here at home, they don't care about boat traffic or anything like that. It's good for the community as well. It's nice to have people around. It's a bit more, it's not so stressful, and you have more time, but at the end of the day, it's up to the anglers too, right?
100%. Nick, you feel the same?
I honestly think the guys that put the effort in, the time in, I think if someone's willing to take 2 weeks of practice, by all means, let them have 2 weeks of practice. That's if you're willing to put that time and that dedication into it, by all means. I mean, this isn't the Bassmaster Elite Series. This isn't we're on our own playing field. I think it's perfect the way it is. I wouldn't like to see it change. It allows the anglers to get better. It allows them to home in the fish. And you know what? When we present a 25-pound bag to win a tournament, everyone's like, oh, whoo. But when we start putting 40 pounds up on the board, people start watching. So having these guys tuned into big fish, it's definitely going to help grow the circuit, because you know what, we are showing the bags now. We're getting better as anglers, and yeah, I think it's more entertaining catching. Before it was like you catch 2 8-pounders in a tournament and a couple other overs. I mean, you pretty much have it in the bag. Now it's like you need 2 8-pounders a day in order to stay in contention.
So, which is remarkable. Like, I mean, that just, again, for those who appreciate walleye, to be able to do that, especially in a tournament under the gun, you are a different breed of angler to be able to do that. I 100% agree, Nick. So that was day one. Those were the totals. That's who were our top 11. 10 of them were part of the championship. Darius and Jared were the only team that were in the top 10 that were not officially a part of the championship. But needless to say, they held their own, and there were some really impressive bags that were brought in. And we're going to get to the results right after we have a word from our sponsors.
I don't think things are happening.
Something frozen. Maybe it's up to you and I now, eh? How's it going, Nick?
Yeah. Good. Well, we lost Scott. So, What did you think about the tournament, Danny? What did you figure out? What'd you figure out there? What for bites?
For bites, that they love the timbers. They're more peekaboo than I've ever seen in my life. It's something you can't ignore. Casts are free. If it looks fishy, throw it at it. Those are some of the things that I probably wish I could go back on a few things like that. Yourself?
100%. I found like the water was clear. Did you notice that too? Like I haven't seen this system where it was like 9 foot. You could see bottom and 9 feet of water. I heard they held the water back in the dam for I think about a week before the tournament. It rose like 5 feet or something like that. And I found the fish were extremely deep.
I couldn't get over to suckers though. There were a lot of suckers and whitefish. When Scottie was talking about schools earlier, I'm pretty sure a lot of those were suckers. And we got a 5.5 pounder, and I heard guys are getting bigger suckers than that at this event. And pretty active too. They were chasing drop shot. They were chasing jigs. They were chasing like gear. Like they weren't shy.
That's incredible. So I don't know. I wonder if Scottie's coming back. If not, we got it from here, I guess.
Yeah.
So what? When you come out to practice, what was your first spot? What did you look for originally? Like as soon as you showed up?
I just without having the charts for the system, you kind of rely on traditional, like just old school. Look at the shoreline that looks wallowy. You're looking for points, channels, and I'm not sure where you're going there, but try that again. I think we lost Nick too. It's just me now.
Oh, I had some technical difficulties too. Scottie lost power, so he's I don't know if he's going to boot back in or not. But anyways, sorry. Yeah, what was that, Danny?
Yeah, so it's just not having the charts. You really can't go back on your system and start looking for stuff. So you're out there doing a lot of traveling, making my charts. But I was looking for traditional walleye spots. You're seeing these gravel points and banks and inside turns and outside turns and checking them all out. And started off with a lot of side scanning to begin with, just to see if I could find some structure, and then start going with live and forward facing sonar. My first day of pre-fish showed I was having trouble finding overs, but I made up for it on my second day of pre-fishing. I did really well and thought I had something figured out, and we just kept a technique going the rest of the weekend, and it slowly started to falter on us. We had to make some adjustments, but one of the things we kind of mentioned earlier about the camaraderie with everybody else like that is one of the things I noticed on day 2 is that a few spots that I wanted to fish. One instance, I come around the corner and I seen you and Jason, Jesse and Francis were in there, and David was in that spot. So there was no way I was fishing that. I burnt through that, and I don't have a chance at even coming close to winner, and I don't want to be the guy that ruins it for anybody else. So.
Well, that's something else that isn't really talked about for anyone that's listening is the etiquette that a lot of anglers have on the water, such as Danny just said, guys that are in the top 10 and whatnot. We have that Scottie's calling me here. Let me put you on hold here. 1 second, guys. Let me put you on hold.
Oh, excuse me. So if you ever get the opportunity and you want to fish the Magpie, I highly recommend you do it. Chantal, the crew did a fantastic job. Shout out to everybody in the NOWT. Tyler did another great job with Jessica with the scales and the weighmaster and everything else. And of course, we had Joey and Christelle zipping around on that Sea-Doo, I think they were hitting like 70 miles an hour. So they were supposed to come around visiting all of us, and we have Nick again.
Yeah, so sorry guys, I was just answering the phone for Scottie. He's a big power outage. They had a storm roll through, so he's waiting for power to come back on. He's doesn't have enough cell phone juice, can't charge his phone. A little bit of a disaster. We'll tease him a little bit afterwards, but yeah, it's the going back to angler etiquette. It's a big thing that a lot of guys have, and you see a top team. I've been there where we had a bad day, day one, and you see a top team in a place, and you back out because it's just if you don't have a chance to beat it, you don't want to screw up someone else's chance of winning. We want to win at our best. So.
There's a certain degree of that. Like I said, like you don't want to affect the guys on the top, whether they're friends or not. But the rest of us in the middle of the pack, yeah, we're still jockeying for position in areas like that. And so like that brings us, like, moving on to the next event. You and I are both missing Geraldton right now, and we're going to miss Long Lac, unfortunately. So I think our next one's Caps that we're both going to be attending.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to be looking at for competition?
Oh, I think it's going to be similar of the same thing. Like, I think we're going to see another big bag. Guys are getting better. It was one last year on crankbaits, so I think a lot of guys are going to be pulling cranks this year. This is multiple times that I've seen it being won on cranks. So I think that's going to be a huge factor. Burning them at upwards of 3 miles an hour along the banks, and I can see the sharpshooting fish over wood. Again, we're looking at with some of the new updates that allow to see fish clear and wood from what I've noticed, and we're able to pinpoint really specific targets and heavy structure, which is interesting. So I'm looking forward to that tournament and seeing if we can cover some ground and move up. But the going back, what do you think of our little show afterwards in the Dubreuilville tournament with Francis? I had no idea he was such a musician. I knew he played in a band, but it was incredible.
Yeah, for those that know it, Francis, I guess they've been doing this since high school. There was a 3-man band, and Francis was playing on the drums and singing, and I think they put on like an hour and a half set, like nonstop. Like they just gave her and everybody was dancing. The community came out, and they were fantastic. Actually, like they were really good. Yeah.
Incredible. I was very shocked. I think chalked down to the whole fishery, the whole tournament scene, like. Dubreuilville really, they knocked it out of the park. Chantel and crew, if you're watching this, any of the volunteers, like, you guys rocked it. This was a great event for the angler standpoint. Everything from the weigh-in to the takeoff to the fishery. I mean, it was incredible. I want to touch.
Aside from the high winds, I thought the weigh-ins, when we were bringing our fish in, that was so well taken care of. They had a good plan, everything. We were able to go in, move around, and get to do the dog. But for those that don't know, like the Dubreuilville where we dock, it's like 2 feet of water. It's super shallow, sandy. So when you get 2-3 foot waves, you're seeing bottom. Like, it's stirring up everything. You can feel your skag hitting at times. So it's not the funnest place. You got a wind in there, but the crew did fantastic. They took good care, made sure everybody was controlled, and there was no incidents at all.
Absolutely, yeah. That. So what did you think of the bite from years past? I know you fished it a few times. You fished a few events there. What did you consider the bite this year in Geraldton, or in Dubreuilville this year compared to years past?
I only got to say that I fished it once. That was back in, I think, 2020. That was an oddball one because it was in July. It was a COVID event. So it was a one-dayer. So it was a month later in the season, so the bite was completely different from that standpoint. Lots of fish, same as always. The bite was very similar. I just found that this time around there was a lot more movement. They were transitioning a lot more. They were in and out of things, and it was hard to keep up with them. I found as soon as even from morning to the afternoon, they weren't like they were holding on specific structure. For my boat, anyways, we were having a ton of trouble. I know you guys weren't. You guys were able to maneuver a little better, but my biggest thing is you're probably a bit more used to it than I am, but we don't fish a lot of wood in the Great Lakes and in places like that. So that was tricky for me to deal with that. It was even with active, it you can see a lot of things and you never know what it is, if it's a fish or not. So I can easily, the snag pie earned its keep this way. It got a lot of money out of me this weekend. So
Yeah, I think you got a lot of money out of everyone, but
Yeah.
I found a lot more big fish were caught this tournament. I don't think it had anything to do with being able to see them or anything, because like even guys rolling up on community spots and catching that quality of fish was incredible. Like the big fish made an appearance. I'm being bothered here.
I got a crew coming by too.
So yeah, I found a lot more big fish made an appearance, and they were really willing to bite in another sense too. So that was a lot of fun seeing. 25 overs day two. We probably got 8 day one and countless amounts in practice. So that made the tournaments a lot more fun. A lot of our fish this tournament came on live bait. That was one thing in practice. We had a bunch of fish going on plastics, some suspended fish. But mostly, within 3 to 5 feet of bottom, cruising over big flats. That was and most of our fish come on live bait this week. What'd you find?
Yeah, all of my fish came on live bait. I didn't have much of a plastic bite going, but there was a variety of baits, like whether they were on the bottom or there was drop shotting. They were pretty good. One thing I did notice though is that there wasn't really there was a bite window. They all seemed to be pretty active, and they generally, when they committed, but the bite was soft though. Even when you knew they were going to bite, sometimes you didn't always notice it at first, right? So a lot of lip hooks. There was a lot of missed fish we had come off on us there. So I'm not sure if you guys
got another notification. Scotty's down. I guess the cell towers are down. He's only got 3G down in the GTA. So we're you guys are stuck in with us for the rest of the night. Good thing we're a little bit better looking than Scotty. He can't hear us to defend himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he's pacing and sweating right now.
Yeah, it was good. We're super happy to have Scotty up there too. I think he brings another aspect to the tournament life, just the camaraderie. He's such anyone that has met Scotty, like I can attest, like he's one of those guys you fall in love with immediately. He's that personality, big bubbly guy. He's there for the right reasons. He's not there to make fame or claim to fame. He's just there for all of the right reasons, to support the kids, to support the sport. So having him on these events is incredible, and having him be a co-host on the Power Hour is unbelievable as well. So that's a huge shout out to him. Even though he can't be here with us.
He's not much help tonight, although we've lost all of our commercials and all of our feeds like that. There, so
yeah. Thanks for all our sponsors, guys. We do appreciate it. Yeah, it was on. We have Raxman, JB, Mercury, Garmin, Eastlink. We have was it Bayside Chevrolet? It's I'm going to butcher them, but I'm Eastview. Sorry, Eastview Chevrolet. The Streamside, Whitewater, Garnet Sports, Raxfin. You guys are all fantastic. So thank you for that, and we'll make sure we make it up to you next week. But let's talk a little bit about upcoming events. So I know we're both not fishing Long Lac. We're going to be in Florida, but what's your prediction there, Dan? What do you think is going to take to lead Long Lac, and then where do you think it's going to be won?
It's kind of tricky right now because there's a lot more better anglers than from the last time I fished that. I think it's going to be a lot of weights north of 20. I think it's going to be into the 30s to win that event, and I think that's going to be more traditional to what you see on a big water bite kind of thing, working reefs and shoals and those kind of shallow to deep water transition areas. I think it'd be a part of the big areas, and I think they'll be active on just about everything. I think reaction baits are going to be really key up there.
The water temperature is going to start warming a little bit. I haven't heard much feedback for what's going on in Geraldton yet. I've been digging a little bit, but I haven't got.
I've gotten a little bit. Apparently, some of the people we've been talking, the pre-fish has been going well, so that's a good thing to hear. That's really good to hear. So
awesome. So you think possibly pushing 30 pounds there to take a lead for Geraldton?
I don't know. That one's notorious for the overs not being tanks, right? So it's a 7-pound fish is a really big fish in that system. But
absolutely,
I think now this caliber angler going into there, these are the guys who are going to find a 9-10 pounder hiding somewhere. I think, but
They got to be in there. There was years. I think there was over 10. I believe one year that we found someone found in there in the main part of the basin. I heard there was one over 10 pounds. I wasn't. That was pre Nick fishing the NOWT, but there was the old legend said that. It'll be interesting to see Longlac for the practice going into the championship for next year. Like seeing what the weights are going to be. I know last year they had a massive die off of a lot of the bait fish in there, so they were catching a lot of big, like 30-inch fish that were only weighing under 7 pounds.
Big head, small bodies on them there. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. So I don't know what the spawn was like this year as a result of that. You're right though, but the lake trout in there are thriving. Like there's 40-inch lake trout coming under that system, so there's food around. I think just getting in the right batch, right?
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. And then we move on to Cap, which I believe it's going to be another good event. We're looking forward to going there. And then Hearst. We got Hearst, which is I'm actually going to sign up for Hearst this year. Last minute call one of the other anglers that wasn't planning on fishing more than one event, but he needs to qualify for the championship. So Alex, I'm going to be fishing with Alex in Hearst. It sounds like we're just waiting to confirm that, but that'll be a good one. And then Sault Ste. Marie, we got registrations now open for the Sioux. If anyone's not registered yet, make sure you check it out. It's going to be linked to the registration site will be on my Facebook page, Danny's Facebook page, and also on the Canadian Fishing Network Facebook page as well. So if you want to check it out and register, you'll see the registration page is available at on all of our social media accounts as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that one because it's brand new and it's going to be a lot of anglers like myself. Like I don't normally fish that body of water, and it's kind of unique. Everybody thinks it's the big water, but really it's like 5 smaller systems all rolled into one. So there's different techniques and different everything. You can really go on a tangent out there. And then same with Cap's case. And then going back to Cap, that's an enormous amount of water to cover. Like that's a long system, and it's a river.
I think 45 miles, if I'm not mistaken, from front to back.
Something like that, yeah.
I know it takes wide open almost a full tank of fuel there and back. So it's definitely a thirsty system. But I mean, anyone that's watching too, Sault Ste. Marie is not like Danny said, it's not a big water system. You don't have to worry about 8-footers and swamping a small boat. I've run it many years out of a 16-footer. Fished multiple events out of it. Out of a 16-foot boat, never had an issue. So that's one positive.
I think Hearst has got a lot of similarities too, right? Because you got multiple bodies of water. So like there, it's kind of like, you got multiple bays, multiple systems. You can easily make a few turns and be somewhere else kind of thing, right? So it's another new challenge, right? If you want to move on, you keep having to adjust all these systems and that. Hearst is a system that I haven't got to fish yet and I want to. Who knows if we can really swing things, we might sneak up there. I'm not too sure, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. I know Longlac's going to be out. I just won't be able to swing that one for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you have a job and a family, you got to make sure you can't do all the events, or it's very difficult to do them. I mean, I wish I could do every event. I wish I could be in G-Town right now. And I mean, all the best to all the anglers there. Oh, I got a visitor. All the best to all the anglers in Geraldton. We're going to be following you guys big time, and we'll be hope everyone's safe and has fun. And I mean, I hope there's some big bags there too. Like it's such a great event too. I've been lucky enough to win that one and fished it multiple times. It's well put on. Donna does a great job. Corey behind the scenes and all the other volunteers there. So I mean, you get like anyone. If
do they still do the boat parade?
Yeah, I think they do. The last time I was there, they did anyways. So that was a lot of fun. That's throwing candy to the kids and whatnot. I'm not sure if they've done it in the past couple of years. I haven't fished it in 2 years, but the last time I was there, they had the boat parade.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. It's one of those things that just make it more exciting and get involved with it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know what? It brings the kids out. Like in Dubreuilville, that was cool to see the community kids coming out and checking out all the boats and having in the parking lot afterwards. And I signed a kid's hat. He asked me to for his autograph. I signed his hat, give him a couple packs of plastics. It makes my day, talking to kids. We sat down with 2 kids, local kids, and one local kid, and then another one angler's son, and teaching them how to tie different knots, like drop shot knots and whatnot, like and being able to bring that out. I remember being as a young angler and talking to some of these guys that I watched fish tournaments and think that was the world, right? And it's literally the least we can do as anglers to take that 1 second to help that next generation. I mean, that's what makes my tournament, seeing the kids being involved and seeing them want to learn and asking questions, and it gives me that warm fuzzy feeling.
Absolutely. And I definitely got to give a shout out to my wife, Mary Lisa. I mean, she just took another top female angler. So she's got 2 now back to back. So it's good for her. I mean, it's always fun when the boat brings something home, but I wish it was me doing it, not just her. So it was good adjustment, but she worked pretty hard for this one. And we got lucky, I guess, in a sense. Like I said, the fish weren't on our side, but it ended up being on her side.
Absolutely. I mean, seeing her grow as an angler too, like she's always been a fierce competitor, but seeing her evolve as an angler as much as the rest of us is pretty cool. Like, I spent a lot of time with you guys, and just from 2 years ago when you guys stepped away from tournament fishing for a little bit and just kind of honed in on your craft, even now where she's really starting to I'm seeing a huge difference in just the competitive side of it, and it's awesome to see. I mean, she's a great person to be around and a fantastic angler. So you're lucky enough to have her as your partner and your wife, buddy.
She's an absolutely fun person to be around. I mean, she just usually a life at a party, so she'll keep us all entertained and laughing there. And I can honestly say this is probably the first event we really didn't have an argument, so it went very well. And it's usually me thinking I know more than I should, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I think we're going to cut this one a little bit short here. We got Scottie off. He had some other content for us. We'll pick it up next week. Scottie's got some weigh-ins for the second part of the tournament, the final weigh-ins, and so make sure you guys tune in next week. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. We got the GTA can't handle the power grid. I guess Scottie's pulling off to pull these videos. So
it's nice up here in the north, right?
Absolutely. Sun's shining. The bugs are biting. It's fantastic. We got doing our lives with the trusty Muscal, and it's a unpaid sponsor.
There you go. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and sorry for the Wing It show, but we'll work on it. We weren't expecting to see this, so we're kind of grasping at straws right now without really giving too much away for our next event kind of thing, I guess. I don't think we have any shows or anything like that coming up or anything like that I think there's it's not till August, so I think we got a lot of time for them to talk, but nothing coming up for Scottie, I think, that he wanted to talk about. So
I don't think so. I think you want to do a recap of this one, and you know what? It might perfectly tie in with the Dubreuilville or the Geraldton event as well. So stay tuned next week. Maybe we might do a little bit longer episode, an hour and a half episode or something, just to try and recap both tournaments, and we'll keep you posted.
And we'll fine tune our gossip for the next one.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.